hell? It didn't give me the right screen. My sincere apologies, everybody. I'm not going to cancel it and start again. So give me a second to move everything. I've been doing the old thumbnail. Now, if you notice my voice is a bit different, it's because I'm not very well. No, I have the Manflu, which means I am very close to death's door. Oh, stupid phone. Okay, right. Let me just get organised. My apologies. We are 10 minutes early this morning. It wasn't the plan. Right, let's see where we are. I need to get my laptop fired up now. Bum, bum, bum. What's going on with the phone? It seems to think it wants to be rotated. So, hello, Andy. We've got... who we got? Mike. Mike Adams. Hey, good morning, Mike. Sorry, my screen is... If I do that, it's happy. If I do that, it's not happy. But I did set it to side. So please tell me that the image is landscape. That's what it should be. It's what I asked it to be. God, these phones annoy me nowadays. And YouTube, they've changed the launch procedure of a live stream. I just put in the description and press next. And normally it allows for a thumbnail to be updated, to be uploaded, and then boom, all of a sudden I'm live. And I'm like, what's going on here? I tried to cancel it. It wouldn't let me cancel it. So here we are, one of those, emergency live streams. So we'll get rid of that so that you know what's new in Chrome. We'll go to YouTube. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Right. Bear with me. Not great TV, I know, but we'll get there. You see? No thumbnail. What the hell? Dumb ass YouTube. I'm sorry. Right, I'll turn that down. Okay, I'll skip that. Okay, good. So at least we are in the landscape format. Right. So, sorry, it's gonna be really annoying for you. I've got a very sore throat. So my apologies, there was not a live stream last weekend. Didn't happen. Andy was not very well. And Mrs. Mechanic said, you're not getting up early to do a live stream. So, happy wife, happy life, they say, don't they? So Mike Adams, hello Andy, good morning Mike, and welcome back to the workshop, sir. Banana Brooks, receiving, excellent. Welcome back, Banana. Jim K, so good to see you. Sorry, Jim. Honestly, I haven't been thinking straight for the last week. I think it's a lot more than just man flu that I caught, to be honest. It's still rumbling on. I spoke to somebody recently and they went to the doctors and the doctors called it a 100-day cough, whatever that is. But definitely been fuddling with my brain this last week. Everything's just a fuzz. It's not ideal, to be honest. But we will get there eventually. Now, what's the quality like? My quality is pretty crap on the screen. Let me know. Mike Adams, I got a copy on you over here. Video and audio is coming through strong at the moment. Perfect. So it must just be me that's a bit crappy on the quality. Okay, Jim K, landscape, but inverse. I searched through and it's not a problem with the phone. It's a problem at YouTube's end. They've obviously done something and changed it, but you're right, I can see it. Honda's done on whatever it is, it's backwards. Yes, I understand, and it's annoying, and there's nothing on my phone or in the YouTube app that allows me to flip it the other way in real time. Obviously I can do it with videos and things, that's not a problem, but when it's a live stream it seems to be a bit of an issue. It was an issue on some iPhone. I mean, I don't run an iPhone, I run a Samsung, but on some iPhones it was an issue. YouTube fixed it and it works for them. They've done something and it's changed it for the Android phones. And here we are, living in a mirror image of ourselves. Come on, YouTube, sort yourself out. It looks crap and there's no need for it. Yes, I know I've got a cough. and I know I'm not feeling very well, but I do have the odd cigarette. A lot less than normal, to be honest. So I saved this one from yesterday for the live stream. It might be the only one that I have, to be honest. So, Jim, you rang me up last week, and I said, "Oh, I'm just at the petrol station. I've just arrived. I need to fill up fuel. I'll give you a call back." Famous last words. Never rang you back. Had a couple of other calls come in when I got back in the car. Totally forgot, and continued to forget until probably Friday afternoon. And I thought, oh yeah, I was gonna ring Jim, but he hasn't rung me. Oh well, sorry. So I am sorry. It wasn't deliberate. Mike, just a word of advice from experience. 3 cups of hot green tea with a teaspoon of local honey each will speed up your recovery. Mum used to give me honey and milk it was. Just don't drink it 3 hours before bed due to the caffeine. Honestly, caffeine seems to have zero effect on me. Alcohol puts me to sleep. Caffeine does not wake me up. It's almost an irrelevant thing for me. Right. So, where are we at? What's been going on? Because we've not seen you for a while, Andy. Well, as you know, I've been ill. I'm trying to think back all the stuff that I've done. Yes. Okay. So, I had to be in Auckland for just over 2 weeks, it was. And I met up with a team of engineers from Japan. Very, very nice chaps, very capable, great to talk to them. Their levels of English, a couple of guys were not bad. Nobody was great. They were not bad. But I'm not picking because I can't speak a word of Japanese. But the rest of them did. They really tried, but they struggled, which is fine, But the effort was there, and there's a lot of interpretation going on. And it was great to catch up with them. Great to see how they operate and what they need us to do. Obviously, I can't say too much. It's very important that I don't. But I've made some new contacts at work across over in Japan, which was nice. And a couple of good friends as well, actually. A couple of new friends that I've got contact with back at the factory, which is great. And they left me a bottle of whiskey. They did. Some Japanese single malt whiskey. Woohoo! That's going to knock this cold on the head. So I might attack that tonight with Mrs. Mechanic. But annoyingly, I wasn't there for the whole duration. I went up. I think they arrived on like a Tuesday. They arrived a day early, as far as I was concerned. Anyway, they arrived. Luckily, I was all set up, and then we got them all the workstations sorted out and things. And then they cracked on the next day, and I was there for the first week. Went home. Then did the weekend. I think I took the weekend off. I think I was ill. I felt crap. I can't remember. To be honest. But then I went back to Auckland on Monday, and by the Tuesday I was coming home again. I felt terrible, really bad. I just wanted, you get that feeling, I need to go home. So I went home, and I just worked from home all week. And I just, wasn't the first few days weren't horrific. And then by the weekend, that's right, by that weekend, I felt terrible, really bad. Just hot sweats and just not really with it, dry throat, coughing, and hard to breathe. It was definitely affecting my chest, and no, it wasn't the cigarettes. I was hardly having any cigarettes at all at the time. And then worked from home Monday, and then finally went back up to Auckland on the Tuesday. And I sort of battled through, really. Got home Thursday afternoon after delivering a new ROV to Piha, which was awesome to meet them over there because I've not been there for a while. And good to see them back in our brand. Those that know. And then came home, worked from home Friday. Yesterday, even though I'm feeling crap, I had another ROV to Underseal. Yes, I know. And it was hard work. It really was. It's done. It's just curing at the moment, and it'll get reassembled tomorrow, because tomorrow is a bank holiday here in New Zealand. So I've got tomorrow off as well, which is nice. So we can get that done tomorrow afternoon and loaded on the trailer. I've got to piggyback my trailer up to Auckland on the work trailer with the Viking, sorry, with the ROV on the little trailer. Sorry, Jim. He's going to be laughing his head off now. But hey, I'm ill. I can't think straight. I've got an excuse. So get that up to Auckland, and on the Tuesday, come home on the Wednesday. And on the Wednesday, the reason why I'm piggybacking my little trailer up to Auckland is I've got to bring a motorcycle back. Yes, be very careful what I say. Bring a motorcycle back. And then I'm supposed to be, and it's all planned and all booked and everything, riding all the way to Invercargill. Yes, that's right. Andy's going south again on a motorcycle, and I'll be away. Sorry, a motorcycle, as Burt would say, a motorcycle, all the way to Invercargill. I'm leaving a little bit early. I'm leaving on the Saturday morning to give me a little bit more time to do the Molesworth, which is a gravel road, 160 k's of gravel. And I'll probably do Danzies. I can't do anything too adventurous because the bike that I'm taking is massive. I was hoping for a smaller type adventure bike, but no, you're riding this one. Okay. So if I drop the big one in a river, I'll never get it out on my own. So I have to be really careful where I go. I mean, to be fair, if I drop it full stop, it'd be hard work getting it back up again, because it's just, especially with all my gear on, I'll take all my gear off, right the bike, put my gear back on again, because it'd be that bloody heavy. Anyway, down to Invercargill for the Burt Munro meet, I suppose you would call it, which is about 5 days long. And then it finishes on the Sunday. On the Monday, I've got some stuff to do, can't tell you, top secret. And then on the Tuesday, I start to head back, but I've got to go back via Nelson or Motueka to do some more work there, and then the ferry, and then home. So I'm actually away for 2 weeks and a day for that trip on a motorbike, on a motorcycle, which will be cool, really cool, which means that there will be some live streams along the way. And I might even do a few pieces to camera, which you will see, I don't know, in the future at some point, secret stuff, you know, which will be cool. So I'll take my tripods, and I'll take my GoPro, and I'll take my YouTube phone, obviously, and I'll take a laptop, and we'll see what we can put to camera, because it's going to be quite a cool trip. It might just be one video covering the whole trip down and a bit around the Burt, because it'd be great to put a bit of the Burt activities to camera. It won't be that well filmed because there'll be millions of people there, but there'll be lots and lots of bikes. It'd be great to have a wander around and show you what it's all about, because a lot of people, and I've never been before, a lot of people never get a chance to go to the Burt, and it's a big thing in New Zealand. So yes, I think we should film some of it. It will be great. So I'll take a clean shirt. Now, when do we get to, so thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. I will give that a go later on. Mike Adams, your respiratory issue could be due to the air quality between Japan and home. I have that issue every time I visit Southern California. Just for clarity, I didn't go to Japan. The engineers came to New Zealand. So, but I'm not pointing any fingers, because I wouldn't do that. But I was feeling absolutely fine until the basically about 6 days after I'd caught up with the lads from Japan, and a couple of them had the snivels. Not pointing any fingers, could be coincidence, I don't know, but anyway, it wasn't their fault, obviously, and it may well not have been their fault, but it did happen. So thanks, Mike. Connor K, good morning, sir. Morning, Andy and crew. Good, you are feeling better this weekend. I've sort of got to the point now, and it's happened before when you get, so I mean, I call it Manflu, but this one clearly isn't. It's a lot worse than that. Oh, lower back pain, really, really bad. And Mrs. Mechanic's got it as well. Really bad lower back pain it seems to be causing as well, which is a lot more than just flu, right? So I'm just pushing through. I've got stuff to do. I've got a schedule to stick to. The most important job to get done was what we completed yesterday, which was the Underseal job. That vehicle has to go back up to Auckland on Tuesday. It's a time critical thing. It needed to be done before I go away, not after. That would have been pushing it back sort of 3 weeks was way too much. So I had to pull everything together and just suck it up, sunshine. Get on with it, you know. So we did, but we had to use a different kind of underseal. Unfortunately, Jared had run out of the forge. Quite a lot of demand on that stuff now, which is great. So I dropped back to the 3M stuff, which we used to use. They were out of stock, which is not ideal. So just bear with me. Just admire the Honda for a second. Sorry, admire the reverse Honda. There we go. So I went to YRL Paints, who always get me out of trouble because they're brilliant down there. Jess helped me out, and they had this product in stock. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. It's called MIPA, or I don't know how you pronounce it because I've never seen it before. It is obviously an underbody sealant. It is bitumen based, and it is very similar to the Forge and very similar to the 3M stuff. It's also made in Germany. It's in a slightly different kind of can. It's got a raised top to it here. Don't worry, it's not that flammable. So maybe made in a different factory. I don't know. There you go. There's the cough. A bit of phlegm. Nice. On camera, Andy. Well done. What I will say is, it seems to be. It may just because I'm full of cold. Oh, sorry, I keep going on about that. But when I was spraying it yesterday, I was wearing a mask. Yes, you know, a respiratory mask thing to try and cut down on the fumes, but man, this stuff gave off some nasty fumes. It was a lot more petroleum type fumes to the Forge stuff, and it also, poor little air compressor was working hard because it seemed to be a lot thicker. It was harder to spray. It took longer to get the volume on, which just dragged out the whole job. So unless I have to, push comes to shove, I won't be using this brand again. It made the job a lot more difficult, a lot longer to do, and it was more expensive. So, you know, end of the day, if you've used it, let me know what your thoughts are. But since I've used the Forge stuff, that's the stuff I really prefer. It became a hard job. I mean, the finish was great, don't get me wrong, and the end result's good. I don't know what it's going to be like long term, how long it'll stay on the vehicle, how it'll be affected by sunlight. That's something else that we had. I did one a couple of years ago, which didn't get picked up for a few months. And again, it was summertime. It was sprayed in like December time, which is our summer, and it was left outside for about 3 months. And the underseal actually bleached. I had to redo it. I had to give it another coat to spruce it up before it went out. It didn't look good at all because it had been out in the sunshine all the time. Normally, once they go out to market, they're in and out of the shed. They stay in the shed overnight, and they're only out in the sunshine when they're in use. So it obviously doesn't really cause a problem, or it takes a lot longer for it to happen, which isn't an issue. So MIPA, don't know. But it is German. It's made in Germany, but it just doesn't seem to be that good for a few reasons. The fumes and the fact that it takes ages to apply. It's a lot slower. There's a lot less volume comes out of the gun under the same pressure. Bum, 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 bum. Purple Monkey 1974. There he is. Hello, all in the chat. Good morning, Purple Monkey. Welcome back to the Andy Mechanic Workshop. My sincere apologies, there was no live stream last Sunday. It wasn't going to happen. I was feeling terrible. I'm still not 100%. I would say it's weird. I had a couple of good days, or better days, and then it seemed to get worse again. Odd. I just can't get my head around it. I'm probably at about, I would say about 75% today, because I worked my ass off yesterday. Which was bad. You know, it didn't do me any good. I shouldn't have done it, but I had to do it. It was one of those things. Mike, I'm hoping to have the time and finances to do a cross-country road trip this summer once I get my pickup fixed. I know I've done it as a trucker, but it's different when in your own vehicle for fun. It's very different. I mean, as you all know, I travel all over New Zealand on a regular basis driving. I had planned to go up to Kaitaia next week, um, but one of our visits got cancelled, and it's a long way to go just for the other two. So I thought, no, you're not feeling right. Things are getting a little bit I wasn't going to get home till late Friday night, and I'll be leaving on the bike Saturday morning. I've got to pack the bike, you know? So I'd have only got about 6 hours kip, and then I'd have been away again, and I'm still not feeling well. So I thought, no, you know what? Let's be sensible, Andy. You're not getting any younger, as Mrs. Mechanic keeps telling me. So I cancelled. Oh, and you're going to like this. You're going to like this. Let me show you this picture. I can show you this picture because it's a different brand. And this was sort of the final straw. It was. So, there we go. Can you spot what's wrong with that tyre? Now, some people may say, but Andy, the rest of it's fine. What are you worried about? You see there, look. Obviously, you can see that, right? Those little stringy bits they're supposed to be inside the rubber and coated with rubber. They are the cords of the tyre. Now, I was a Tiro, I think it was, heading home, and the steering on that ute, it's always sort of pulled to the left a little bit. It's not real aggressive, but it does pull to the left. If you let go of the steering wheel, it will drift to the left. Quite quickly. It's not a gradual drift. So you're constantly just, so obviously wheel alignment's out a little bit. And when I spotted that, I'd done about 1,800 kilometers since I received that ute. And for the tyre to wear to that kind of condition, it would have definitely been illegal at the time that I was handed the ute. I did drive forward a bit and check the rest of the tyre, and it's not worn through to the cords all the way around, which also could suggest that the tyre's out of round as well, which can happen when the cords get damaged. So I don't know. It should have been picked up a long time before it got to that kind of condition. So I stayed in Tiro, made a few calls because it was Friday about 4:30 in the afternoon. Wanted to catch the tyre shop in Auckland, and I've ordered a set of tyres, different size obviously, because this ute runs on 18-inch rims to the Ranger. The Ranger's 17s. So I've ordered the same tyres that I had on the Ranger, just different size, same spec, same tread pattern, all terrains. Dick's Serpic, I think they are. I can't remember what they're called. I don't know, but they're good. You've seen them on a video before. 100,000 Ks out of a set of tyres, no problems at all. And they're a 10-ply tyre, so they're super resilient, which is good for me because I end up going on all sorts of weird roads and tracks and things. So I was going to have to get those fitted on Tuesday morning when I get up to Auckland, and that was going to push me back on my dealer visits as well. So I thought, forget it. Let's just get the ute fixed, get this ROV delivered back, get home, work from home for a couple of days, try and get better, get your bike sorted out because I've got to pick the bike up, bring it home. Get the bike sorted out, work out how the hell you're going to load everything on because there's no panniers or top box or anything. It's just a bare bike. So that's going to be fun. It's going to probably involve a massive rucksack, which is going to do my back a world of good, but anyway. And then leave. I've got to leave realistically about 7 a.m. Saturday morning. I've got to check in at the ferry no later than 2 p.m. And who knows what the weather's going to be like, So that ride all up will be, I reckon, be over 3,000 Ks. Yes, it will. It'll be over 3,000 kilometers, but I've got 2 weeks to do it. And I mean, what a wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much, employer. An amazing opportunity to be able to be given a bike and 2 weeks of work time to go down to the Burt Munro. Brilliant. Not many people can get to do that at work. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I just hope that I get better before I leave. Where do we get to? The Giant. Good morning, the Giant. The Giant says, good evening, Andy and crew. How is everything doing? 75% covered that. Not feeling great. Still on the road to recovery from something much worse than Manflu, if you can get that. But we'll be all right. We're on track. Connor K, could be a very strong variant of flu. Normally not no back pain, but once I had flu so bad that I had back pain and cold shakes. Not typical symptoms. Not cold shakes yet for me. Thank you for that, Connor. But the back pain's been pretty rough. I thought I just, you know, slept bad one night, but I don't. As soon as Mrs. Mechanic got it as well, I thought, nah, that's got to be linked to it because she doesn't often get back pain. Aerospace fan. That's a new one. Good morning, aerospace fan. Welcome to the Andy Mechanic Workshop and one of our live streams. Hi, Andy. Is there any plans of bringing the Tool Girls back? Best wishes. In all honesty, I don't know. I just don't know. I would really like to bring the Tool Girls back. The biggest problem for me is logistics. It's not that, Tool Girl Holly is still around. She's up in Auckland. So you've got the logistics of Holly coming down to the workshop, which is a good 3.5 hour drive, but each way. So I just don't know, in all honesty. Just leave it with me. It's something which is just in the background. It might happen. I had a great time filming with those girls. We made so many videos together. It was, as a group, they were absolutely brilliant. And it gave the channel a real dynamic, something very different. I'm also conscious, however, and just bear with me on this, I am conscious that YouTube's policy keeps changing. And some of the content of those videos that are already on the channel, with the attire that the girls are wearing and the exposure, Tool Girl Jade, they may actually at some point get pulled by YouTube. I don't know, and that would be a terrible shame. Videos without Tool Girls in should have no problems at all forever. So again, it's something I've got to think about because obviously there's quite a lot of expense in producing those videos with assistants because the girls do get paid to be on those videos. They get paid per day, for their efforts and the time. And if they come down from Auckland, then obviously the amount they get paid is a lot more because of all the travel and so on. So it's a difficult one. It really is. And when you combine that with the fact, and I've been honest about this, and I was speaking to another YouTuber up in Auckland a couple of weeks ago, Daniel Alvarez, who is from Colombia, a good friend of mine. He used to work in a bike barn with me. He used to work at the Penny Farthing store in Khyber Pass Road, around that area it was. It's gone now. I was down in Newmarket, so we were about, 10 minutes drive time apart. I'd often go up there and rob bits off it from his shop, and he'd come down and get bits from me just to get bikes fixed. So he had a YouTube channel for a long time, Daniel Alvarez, and he said exactly the same thing. He's seen in the last few months a big drop off on subscribers, a big drop off on income, and a big drop off on the number of views. And I've seen exactly the same on my channel, and it's really weird. I put it down before I spoke to Daniel. I put it down to the fact that, yeah, okay, Andy, for quite a while you've not put out that many videos, and it's finally bitten you on the ass. Yes, I understood that, and I've accepted it. There's nothing I can do about it. But Daniel's not. He's been putting out plenty of videos. He's been really busy, and the same things happened. And it's like, what's going on? Strange. There is obviously a lot more competition on YouTube now. A lot more big channels out there with big budgets. It's become a lot more commercialized, so maybe that's the effect. There's only so many people to watch videos, and they're going to choose what they want to watch. Obviously, what's more attractive and better edited and a bit more glitzy and glamour, and more people as well. Often I'm here just talking on my own to the camera, so it's maybe it's a bit boring. I don't know. Maybe times have changed, but I will continue to truck on, irrespective of how things go with the channel. It's not going to deter me at all, but something to bear in mind, obviously going back to the Tool Girls, is they do cost, and if the channel's income is, greatly reduced long term for whatever reason, and payment of tax to various countries, that's also kicking in as well, which is bringing it down. Then there's less budget to pay the girls, and I can't afford to subsidize the channel out of my my personal income. That just can't happen at the moment. So we'll wait and see. Watch this space. Who knows? But very good point, and thank you for asking the question. And feel free, anybody, to ask again in the future. It's something which is constantly being considered in the background. Now then, where are we at? So Mike Adams, Andy, you and I are the same age. It seems everything keeps getting in my way to slow me down. Sounds like you're having the same issue. I think it's God's way of telling us it's time to slow down. Slowing down at the moment for me, I agree with you. I am a lot slower now at doing stuff than I used to be. But I just battle on and get it done. I think my brain hasn't accepted the fact that my body is getting older, and it just keeps pushing me, and it's fine. I mean, I'll do that for maybe 3 or 4 months, and I'll just keep, smashing out the work and running a really tight schedule and doing all this travel and with work and all that kind of stuff. And then at some point you catch a little snivelly cold, and man, it knocks you for 6. Your body just goes, right, it's time to stop. You're going to be out of action for a while, Mr. Young. And it sort of takes that time, not just to get over the cold, but to sort of regroup before it lets you go back to work again. Just out of interest, I haven't taken any sick days from work. I've continued to work through it from home. My main concern is I didn't want to pass it on to anybody else. I've just continued to do admin work and get reports done in bits and pieces, and it's actually been really good. I've got a lot of stuff done. There's still more to do, but I haven't stopped working, which maybe I should have done. I don't know. That's why you have sick days. But the problem I have is if I stop, whatever work that I don't do, nobody else picks it up. There's only me. I don't get any support from other people, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest. Puts the pressure on. Connor K. Andy, you probably know already that your image is reversed again. I know, Connor, and after the last live stream, I went through my phone, looked for any possible settings that could have got changed. I watched some YouTube videos on it. I discussed it with Mrs. Mechanic, and we came to the conclusion that YouTube have changed something at their end, and it will at some point change back. But there's nothing I can do to rectify it, and it's bloody annoying, and all I can do is apologize. It's just stupid, to be honest. There's no need for it. Mike Adams, change your tires and get it aligned, and it should be fine. Yeah, I think it's taken a hit. I think the vehicle's taken a hit. I'm not entirely sure. I have a hunch. Very clearly the wheel alignment is out. I'll chuck the spare on to get up to Auckland. I'm assuming the spare is in good order. I've not even checked yet. To get back to Auckland, and they will be doing a wheel alignment at the same time. So they'll fit the tyres and then they do a wheel alignment and then get back. And they've got all day to do that. So there's no rush now. It's not panic. Got to get on the road. It doesn't become a compromise. So yes, it'll be done properly. That ute, I don't know how long I've got it for. I actually wasn't planning on buying a set of tyres for it of the same type that I ran on the Ranger, because I was told I'd only have it for a few months and then I'd be in a Ranger. That was a promise. We'll wait and see if it comes to fruition. Who knows? But given the condition of the tyres, now's the time to change them. So I'm changing them. And if the ute goes to somebody else in a few months' time, so be it. They're only tyres. I'm not paying for them. And I do have the right to put whatever tyres I like on my work vehicle. That was told to us a few years ago. Whatever you feel comfortable driving on, it's your choice, was the words we were given. So, and I've had 2 sets already through the Ranger of those tyres, and they're brilliant, actually. Really, really, really chuffed with them. Good longevity. No, we don't want that. We don't want any updates. Thank you very much. And with them being an all-terrain, they're a reasonably aggressive all-terrain. They actually still grip really well in the wet. And look, I had a set of mud terrains on before that, and they were horrendous in the wet. they're fine in the dry, no problems. But oh man, poor old Ranger, the black one, was sliding around on the road in the wet, especially in Auckland where the roads are quite greasy. You have to be super careful on stopping distances. So that's my week coming up. There will. So I'll be in, just to give you a heads up, I'll be in Picton on the Sunday morning. So we'll do a live stream next Sunday as well from Picton. Don't think we've done one from Picton. Not too sure how good the internet is. It should be all right. We'll do one from Picton before I embark on the Molesworth, which is a very long gravel road. The good news is there are other people that drive it and ride it as well. So if I get into trouble, there'll be somebody around eventually that'll come past and give you a hand. Important that you fuel up before you start, because there are no petrol stations along that road. And it's only open up until, I think opens like October time from memory, sometime in October usually. And providing all goes to plan, it's normally open until Easter. Easter weekend being the last weekend, and then it closes again for the rest of the year. Because it's not passable. It gets the road with all the heavy rain, it gets washed away in places. And then of course the snow comes and blocks it, so they don't want, and it's a private road. It's run by the Molesworth station. They maintain it. And in the past, years ago, they used to charge you to go on it. But I've never had to pay yet. I don't ever remember. I remember taking some money with me once, but there was nobody there to pay the money to. So maybe they've stopped charging for it, and maybe the government give them a grant towards maintaining it. I don't know. But it's a cool road. Lots of old vintage car groups go and do it. It's not horrifically bad. It's just a gravel road, but it's very scenic, and there's lots of places you can stop off, have picnics and things as well. So, and it ends up in Hammer Springs, and Hammer Springs is a real tourist haunt. It's pretty expensive there, but it's a nice place. I've been there lots of times, and I'll be staying in Hammer Springs when I come back before I bounce across to Nelson. I'll be having a night in Hammer Springs, and it's about a 5-hour ride across to Nelson over the mountains. So it's going to be cool. I just hope the weather's going to be reasonable. If it's going to be raining every day, I get a bit grumpy. I don't like riding in the wet all the time. For a start, it's bloody dangerous because the roads are slippy. If it's nice and dry, it'd be really cool. Really, really cool. Do live streams, please. The YouTube gods, algorithms, and all that. Yes, okay. Mike Adams. Done that, yes. Okay, sorry, we've caught up. So yes, there'll be a live stream next Sunday. The following Sunday, where the hell will it be then? I think that, yeah, I'll be in Invercargill, won't I? So on the Sunday morning. So yeah, probably one in Invercargill. I don't know what my schedule's going to be over that weekend, but I think we'll have time for a quick live stream. It may only be a short one, but we'll definitely do it. And then I get home on the Saturday. So there'll only be 2 live streams while I'm away. There's only 2 Sundays while I'm away, which is perfect. And then I'll be in the workshop Saturday. And I'll get home Saturday, in the workshop Sunday. We probably won't do one that Sunday. We'll do one the Sunday after. And then we can talk about the trip, all that kind of stuff. Should be cool. We'll see. Maybe I'll do one when I get back on the Sunday morning while it's all still fresh in my mind. Show you some pictures. Who knows? We will see. Can't plan that far ahead because things keep changing anyway. Mike, is there a particular make and model bike that you have always wanted and would like to do a revival on? Geez. Well, yes. And I have one. And Ben has 4. And we have done some videos on them already. Probably my most favorite motorcycle. Well, actually, there's a couple. And the reason why I say this now is because I used to have them when I was a teenager. And I miss them. So, the Yamaha TDR 250. It's a parallel twin 2-stroke with YPVS. It was the first ever production supermotard. And I was very fortunate to have a black and yellow one when I was 17, 18 years old. stupidly fast. I'm not into stupidly fast. I like acceleration. I like wheelie potential. I like maneuverability. Handling is nice, so you can throw it into corners and speed up and slow down. So all the kind of super motard stuff. I like that. Although I can't drift it like the lads on the super motard can. That's just awesome. But if I try to do that, I just fall off. So a few years ago, quite a few years ago, Ben managed to, I'd always talk about these TDR 250s, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to get one, Dad, got to get one." I said, "Yeah, you do." And he found one in Wellington, and he bought it. He'd saved up, but he had enough money, and he bought it. And he said, "Can you go and get it for me?" So me and Mrs. Mechanic drove down in the patrol, no trailer, in the patrol, got to this house, met the guy, checked the bike over, gave him his money, and then took both wheels out of the bike and the handlebars off and slid the bike into the back of the patrol, had all the seats folded up and stuff, and strapped it down inside the patrol. Brought it back, reassembled it. "There's your bike, Ben." And he was like, "Wow, this is cool." And he rode that bike every day, just his daily commute. It was just, he put like 40 or 50,000 Ks on it. Absolutely loved it. And he loved the performance of it. He was starting to get a bit silly on it, I must admit, but he really enjoyed riding it, which was nice to see. And then he bought another one because I think he blew it up or something. Something happened to it. I know we did a few videos on doing a top end rebuild on it, and we had problems with the head gasket and that kind of thing because he'd gone for an oversized bore. I think he'd gone to 2 mil, which is beyond what the manufacturer stipulates is possible. And we had to have a bespoke head gasket made because you couldn't get the right size head gasket, blah, blah, blah. But we got there. We got it all fixed up, and he got back on the road. Then he had a problem with his gearbox and bits and pieces. So he bought another one. And then he's bought another one. And then over the years, he's bought another one. And he's also bought lots of cylinders and cylinder heads and crankshafts and bottom ends, lots of spare engines from around the world. He keeps buying the stuff, and they're all in the shed. And then he bought another one, and he gave it to me. So I've got one, which is really cool. And I want to, restore it. I want to it won't be a concourse restoration for sure, but I'd love to get it all put back together and get it back on the road, which I can do. And it'll be, a bit of nostalgia. Take Mrs. Mechanic for a ride. You get to smell a two-stroke oil again. Because that's the bike I used to ride when I was dating her. So it'll bring back a lot of memories. And it'll probably do more wheelies now than it used to do because I'm a bit heavier. But anyway, it'll be good fun, really good fun. And the other bike is when I was at college, and I had the TDR at the same time. But when I was at college, I didn't want to take the TDR down there because it was too stealable, Very desirable bike. Although there weren't that many around, there were actually quite cool bikes. I had a Honda CM, so C for cat, M for mother, 200 twin, 4-stroke, bulletproof little engine, a little tiny custom bike thing it was. We called it Cyril. I bought it, I was riding through York, up near the university area, and at the time I was doing my A-levels, I think so. I might have been like summer holidays and before I went to Barcelona, maybe. And it was in this guy's garden, and it was more of a garden feature because it had a rose bush growing through the frame of the bike, between the engine and the frame was this rose bush. So I stopped and went in, and I was hiring out motorcycles at the time. I built myself up a little hire fleet to bring me some income in while I was at college. That's right, I was at college. There you go. So I was at college. And I said, "Look, I'd like to buy the motorcycle," because I was keen on buying just about anything, really. And he said, "Oh, well, how much would you give me for it?" I said, "Well, clearly it's not on the road. Have you got the documents for it?" "Yes, I've got the V5. Yeah, I've got the ownership documents." "Cool. Okay, it's in your name." "Yes, it's my name." I haven't got a lot of money. Would £80 work?" And he's like, "Yes, £80 will be just fine." So gave him his money and then went home and got the trailer or whatever and came back and picked it up and took it home. Anyway, put it in the shed that night. The next morning, I think it was the weekend. Or I was off college or whatever it was. I was free, so dragged it out, pulled the battery out. 12 volt, cool. I like that. Battery was stuffed, so used the jumper battery. Cleaned the carb out. Checked the oil. The oil actually looked all right. Didn't look contaminated. There was no water in it. And pressed the start button after cleaning the spark plugs and stuff and putting fresh fuel in it. And little Cyril fired up. He fired up and then died. Pressed the start button again, and he fired up and he idled. And Cyril told me then that he was a motorcycle that wanted to live. He was really keen to start. So I fixed the bike up. I bought some new mud guards because it's a bit rusty on the mud guards. The chrome mud guards had all rusted through, so I bought some new mud guards. And I cleaned the tank out. The tank was actually all right. It wasn't rusty. Just basically put some new tyres on it, fixed it all up, put some new chain and sprockets on it, and used that bike as my college bike. And I would ride from York down to Loughborough, because that's where I was at college, at Loughborough, and then back to York. So I'd ride down usually on the Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, ride home on the Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So up the M1, or sometimes the A1, but usually the M1. So little Cyril got thrashed, absolutely thrashed. Put some like tulip exhaust pipes on there, so it was nice and loud. It was fun. We'd used it for some green lane. I put knobblies on it, and we went green laning in the Yorkshire Dales with Mrs. Mechanic. Just on our own. We had a great time on that bike. It was a 12 volt CDI, so there's no points. The earlier version, the 6 volt one, had points on it, and I bought one of them as well. That was on the higher fleet. But the 12 volt CDI one was much, much better. So yes, I've only ever seen one for sale in New Zealand, CM200 Twin, and I would really, really, really like to get one because Cyril I have a lot of memories and a lot of photos and stuff of riding Cyril. It was a big chunk of my motorcycling life was Cyril. I will have spent a lot more time riding Cyril than I ever did the TDR 250, that's for sure. I even bought a set of twin carburetors for him off a different model, same engine, but never got around to fitting them. I know. When I left the UK in 2008, back end of 2008, Cyril, and you're going to laugh at this, was back in the garden. Hadn't ridden him for years. I think the last person to ride him was my brother, Ollie. And then for some reason, whether he got a fault or what, I don't know, but he ended up in the garden. No rosebush growing through him, but he was in the garden. He got put out to retirement. I think the wheels were all rusted. The rims had rusted out and bits and pieces. It wouldn't pass an MOT again. And I didn't have the time to fix him up. Sort of end of an era kind of thing. So Cyril went. He got left in the garden. He's probably gone. He will have gone for scrap now. But yes, I would like another one. And I'd done a few top end rebuilds on it. Never had to do anything to the bottom end. Bottom end was mint. But I did have. Did the cam chain snap, or did it burn valves? I think it burnt some valves. It just got really underpowered, lost compression, so we did a rebore and new rings and bits and pieces. But yeah, he was a cool little bike. So yes, I'd like one of those. One day, I'll find one and I'll buy it. Where do we get to? You guys have been busy. Mike Adams. Oh, done that one. Sorry. Connor K. Andy, you make very good shop videos. I especially like the vehicle DC electrical system troubleshooting. I've known so many guys, including me, that are good with home and industrial AC, but not 12 volts DC. I'm the opposite. I have very, very little experience on the domestic AC. Although saying that, when I was at Mum's house, I had a little shed, and we had an electrician wire that up. And I say wire it up; it had like one socket and one light. Dad bought me a second-hand sort of wooden garage shed, garage size, single car garage. That was, and I had to put paving slabs down as the floor, and we reassembled it all. And I did the wiring on that, and I was only 14 at the time, and he let me wire it up. Now, you might say he let me, I just got on with it. And we didn't use twin and earth wire, or I didn't use twin and earth wire. I was at my dad's garage once, and there was a big shed a building down the back. This was Norman Anchors in York. And down the back, upstairs, there was all sorts of stuff, just old stuff left. There was some asbestos sheeting, which I now know is really bad for you, but I said to Dad, can I have that? He says, yeah, take it home, build a shed. So I built a lean-to with that. That's a different story. And in another one was a tea chest full of old wiring. And this was wiring where the neutral was black, and it was a separate wire, and the live was red, and it was a separate wire, and the insulation was more like a cloth type. It wasn't plastic. I thought, ooh, free wire. We'll have some of that. So I gathered it all up and took it home, straightened it all out, and worked out what lengths I had, and put a ring main in my new old shed using this old wiring. And there was a bit of conduit with it as well, a bit of steel. It was steel conduit, and there was a couple of the boxes and stuff. And it said on it maximum current or whatever. I can't quite remember the exact words, but it was along the lines of maximum current is, I don't know, 15 amps, for example. However, in times of war, this can be multiplied by 6. And I was like, what? Why can you run 6 times the current down this wire when it's times of war? Obviously, because metal was short to get hold of it. But normally only run the 15 amps. I thought that was hilarious. Absolutely, like, wow. When it's times of war, rule book goes out the window, just get on with it, was basically what it was saying. So anyhow, I wired my whole shed up, and I made terrible mistakes on the wiring. One of the biggest mistakes, and I meant to do it really well, and I thought I was doing it really well, was obviously on the shed wall, you've got the uprights, right? You know, the posts, I suppose you'd call them, the battens, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what you call them. But the uprights, right, which were probably like 2-inch by 3-inch bits of timber. The framing. So I would, drill through a bit of frame, threaded the wires through, and then the wires would just dangle to the next bit of frame. And I'm like, it looks really crap. I know I'm going to cover it up with some timber, but it looks shit. I don't like that. So I got this conduit. There was a few lengths of it. Cut the conduit down and neatly slipped the conduit between the 2 uprights of timber, and did that all the way along the wall. Looked a lot tidier. However, didn't mount the conduit to anything. It was just sat on the wires. Yes, it might have looked okay to start off with, but over time, and you'll laugh at this, over time, because I didn't even deburr the ends of the conduit, I just got my hacksaw and cut it to the length, slotted it in, thread the wires through, slotted it in, move on to the next one. And of course, when you're actually putting the conduit into position as well, maybe I was nipping the wires a little bit and damaged the insulation. Plus the insulation was really old. So a few years later, I'm working in my shed, and I hear this bzz, 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 and I'm like, what's that? And most of the wall was covered with pinboard. So basically like a hard board with lots of little holes in it to put hooks in. And I could see this arc light from through the pinboard, inside the shed, inside the building. It's busy arcing away. And what was happening was the live was shorting to the neutral. Both of them had cut through their insulation, and they were arcing against the conduit. And I'm like, holy crap. And I was, I might have been 16 at the time. So I quickly turned everything off, ripped off the pinboard, realised the problem. Probably just put a bit of insulation tape around it, knowing me at the time, a bit blasé when it came to mains electric. Didn't really understand the problems that you could have. And just carried on. And I don't know if that shed's still there. The wiring was atrocious. It never got signed off. It just got plugged in basically into the mains via a fuse box. But we didn't have too many problems. That was like that the worst. But yeah, fun and games. But Yes, I used to do also. I used to just get on with stuff, even if I didn't know what I was doing. I used to think I knew what I was doing. It was funny. Probably nothing's changed. Richard Perry, hi Andy and crew. Hope all are well. Sorry I'm late. It's all good, matey. I had my first electric car from Friday. Trying to get my head around it. Big change. Yeah, we could talk all the day, all day long about electric cars. In a nutshell, I don't get it. A lot of people have bought electric cars under a particular premise, a promise, I suppose. Here in New Zealand, a lot of them bought them because of the huge government subsidies giving away taxpayers' money. But certainly the big gold rush of buying an EV car it's waned. It's really dropped off. You know, a lot of people are starting to reconsider, did I buy the right car? Maybe I should go back to a petrol or a diesel car. Mainly petrol in New Zealand. There's not many diesel cars. Plenty of diesel Rangers and stuff, utes, but not many diesel cars. But saying that, the Ranger is the most popular, or utes are by far the most popular vehicle type in New Zealand as well. So probably is a lot of diesel out there. But no, I see a lot of electric cars on the road. I don't see a lot of new electric cars on the road. That's the point I'm trying to make. But hey, the benefits of having an electric car are really entirely down to your usage of that vehicle. And for you, it may make total sense. The problem that I have is that a lot of people that have bought them, it isn't the best fit for them. And they bought them because of all the marketing and the hype and the money back and all this kind of stuff. And the promise that there'll be all these charging stations. And probably, sorry, really sore throat now. And probably on the expected savings, which now are never going to materialize because the New Zealand government now charge EV owners road user charges. So they have to pay not only tax on the, they obviously pay tax on the electric, right? Like normal tax. But they also have to pay per kilometre, and you pay for that in advance, not after you've done it. The diesel cars have had that for years in New Zealand, and now EVs also are applicable. I think hybrids are also charged, but they're at a much lower rate because they pay some of their tax through the petrol that they buy. But nobody mentioned that was going to happen when they did the deal, you know, the subsidy on the cars. So they sort of lured people in, got the car sales, and now they tax them. Nothing is ever free, right? Mike Adams, I say, if and when you're able to get another one and make it happen, I will. I'm going to get one. You only live once, and new memories will be worth it. Yes, another Cyril in the fold will be fantastic. John Nuttall, hey, morning, John. Hit the like people button. Hit the like button, people. Bear with me. I know it's horrible on camera, and if I was editing a video, that would be cut out, obviously. But I can't do that on this, so I'm sorry. I'm only human. Mike Adams, John Nuttall, I stepped on it on the way in. Good man. Scott, Richard, get used to being late if you're going lecky. Sergeant Joe Smith, hey Andy Mechanic, buddy. Dropping by to say hi. Good morning, Sergeant Joe Smith. Welcome back. Let's open the door. Hang on. It could be a coffee. I don't know. I know. Tell me about it. Right, I'm back. We're going to catch up with the comments. Mrs. Mechanic said, wrap it up because your voice is going. So, what time is it now? I've been going an hour. That hour's pretty good for a bad throat. So Sergeant Joe Smith, welcome back, mate. Good job. He says, I love Rangers. I got 10 Ranger trucks, no diesel Rangers in the States there. Wow, you don't get diesels. I still think the 3.2 is by far the best. Although saying that, mine did seem to have lost a little bit of power once it got around the 200,000 kilometer mark. It didn't seem quite as lively as it used to be. But hey, done a lot of work, done a lot of towing. The new owner, by the way, is very, very happy. Loves the machine, and we've got a lift kit to fit to it at some point, and that'll be a couple of videos. We'll work our way through that one. Mike Adams, on EVs, if you want one and it makes you happy, great, get one. But for me, I'll just stick to my ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines, for those that don't know, that I'm familiar with and can depend on. Get what you like and enjoy. Life's short. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with people buying EVs. I have a problem with the marketing around EVs and the promises that were made by the manufacturers. And the fact that a lot of people that bought EVs didn't see the full picture. They weren't told the full story. They were oblivious to all the work, effort, energy that goes into building an EV. Oblivious to the fact that if something serious was to happen to the EV, a serious failure, it probably wouldn't be viable to repair it. Oblivious to the fact that more likely to be written off if the car's involved in an accident, less likely to be repaired by the insurance company. Obviously now, they weren't expecting the sudden depreciation in value because the market's collapsed. A lot of EV owners were sucked in during that sort of boom period, and now have sort of been left high and dry. It hasn't ended up being what they thought it was going to be. And if they'd gone in eyes wide open, they probably would have sat back and thought, I like the idea of an EV, but actually, it's not for me. But they didn't. They went ahead and bought one, and they're stuck with it. Negative equity in many cases. That's what bugs me. Mike Adams, just don't mandate them. Correct. Don't force them down our throats because, well, there are some of us out there that do look at the bigger picture, and I just don't want one. I mean, forget EVs. I mean, this is me getting on my soapbox now and being old, okay? I understand this is me being old. But I've got this Isuzu Ute now, a D-Max thing, 3-litre diesel. There's a lot of electronics, safety features on this vehicle, okay? I'm not going to cover everything. I might do a video on it one day, who knows? But I can't make a phone call, an outgoing phone call, whilst the vehicle's in motion. On the Ranger, I could select my contacts list and I could press a contact and it would ring that person up using my mobile phone. Bluetooth connection. Pretty obvious, most cars have it. And it was great. I could do some work whilst I was driving. D-Max. Nope. You're not accessing your contacts whilst the vehicle's in motion, you have to stop. What? Now, sure, I could pick up my phone, which is illegal. Pick up my phone, go to my addresses, press the button, and it will ring from the phone, and the car will pick up the call, and I'll be able to have the conversation. Can't do that. Not allowed to. The primary rule in our business is we comply to all legislation, and picking up your phone while you're driving is illegal, so I can't do that. So I can no longer, I can take phone calls because you just press the little green button and it answers the call, but I can't dial out. I mean, sure, I could spend hours setting up some kind of voice recognition where when I haven't got a cold, it might just about recognize my voice. But I shouldn't have to do all that crap. There's another feature on it is this lane departure thing. You know, it's a bit like on the Jimny, but far more intrusive. Spend half my time fighting it. I found now that I've had it for a couple of weeks, the lane departure thing and the cruise basically all kicks in pretty much. It's a lot more intrusive when you're in cruise control. If you don't use cruise control, all those systems sort of stay dormant. So I found myself just not using cruise control anymore. Um, or probably about 90% less. I don't use cruise control because I know full well I'm going to be fighting the car most of the time. I've noticed that when you're driving down your lane, the car wants you to be in the middle of that lane. Now, I don't drive in the middle of my lane. I drive to the left of the middle of my lane so that my left tyres, because we drive on the left in New Zealand, my left tyres are maybe 3 or 4 inches away from the white line on the left, and that gives maximum space on the driver's side, the right side of the vehicle, between me and oncoming traffic. Because a lot of the roads in New Zealand are quite narrow and you get big trucks thundering around corners. And rather than being in the middle of the road and then have to swerve to the left, I'm already on the correct side. I'm already giving the extra room. You know, I've always been taught that when you go into a corner, assume something big's going to come round the other way, because it probably will. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. If it does, you're already in the right position on the road to accommodate it. So I've been trained to keep to the left of my lane, but the car believes that I should be in the middle of my lane, which to me is wrong. So we're constantly fighting each other, and I absolutely categorically hate it. There are many other things on the D-Max as well that I don't like. The seats are too hard, it's not comfortable. I find that the pedals are too far forward, so I have to have my seat a bit further forward for my feet to reach the pedals, and now my arms are not straight, they're bent all the time, and I get ache in my shoulders because it's a different driving position that I'm not used to. I don't like it. Yes, I could tilt my seat back and drive it like a car, but it's a U, and I'm used to a sitting upright, you know, or almost upright. I don't have my seat laid all the way back. So the ergonomics of the vehicle are crap in comparison to the Ranger. The vehicle feels a lot more skittish on the road compared to the Ranger. Sure as hell doesn't tow anywhere near as well, and I'm very much looking forward to putting 3.5 ton behind it and seeing how it copes with that, because that could be the final straw. But we'll wait and see. You know, there is. Oh, is there one advantage? Is there an advantage? Is there anything that's better? I haven't found it yet. Oh no, I haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. I don't know. There's nothing yet that seems to be better than the Ranger in any way, shape, or form, other than actually fuel consumption. It uses a lot less fuel. It does. I don't know why, but it uses a shit ton less fuel, which is of no advantage to me whatsoever. I don't pay for the fuel. It's a variable or a data point that I don't have to take into consideration. It's got nothing to do with me. So it wouldn't bother me how much fuel it uses or doesn't use. What bothers me is how usable the vehicle is and how well it functions and how reliable it is and how well it handles and how well it fits me. And it doesn't fit me. Okay, bear with me. Where do we get to? Sergeant John Smith, bigger diesel trucks like the F250, F350, etc., but not in the Rangers. A lot of people swap diesels in Rangers though. Oh wow, okay. I've seen some of those F250s and 350s on TV, on movies and stuff, and they are cool machines. Bit too big for New Zealand, but they're cool machines. There's one or two here. There's certainly 250s here. I'm not sure about 350s. Richard Perry, 100% right, Andy. Think it comes in this year, road tax on electric. We had one because we only do local runs, and it's a mobility car which doesn't give you much choice on petroleum or diesel. Oh, got some memories. OneDrive, looking back. That was a long time ago. Let's get rid of you for a second. Boom, there we go. Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't have one. I'm saying just do your research, check it out, because they can get expensive real quick. I was watching one of Ed China's videos, Workshop Diaries YouTube channel. Good top bloke, Ed. Mumbles a bit now and again, but good bloke. He knows a lot of stuff. And he did was it a Nissan March? I think it was EV. They had at the Bosch Centre. And he dropped the battery down, and one of the contactors had welded closed. Pretty common problem on EVs. Massive job to fix it. Yes, the way he fixed it was relatively cheap, other than the labour. Great job, Ed. Well done. And it's good to show people how to do that. Should people be doing that without the training and the qualifications because of the high voltage? Absolutely not. Shouldn't be going anywhere near that kind of stuff. Will they be able to do it at home? Probably not. The battery pack's really heavy. How the hell are you going to get the battery pack back up into place? So EVs don't really lend themselves very well to home repairs on the EV element of the vehicle. Sure, you can do brake pads and wheel bearings, that kind of thing. That's not a problem. But when it comes to anything EV, it's going to get real expensive real quick. Sure, the contactor was like, I don't know, £130 to replace. But most people wouldn't be able to do that job. Whereas if it's a petrol car, A, wouldn't have one, so it's not going to fail. But petrol cars, most people can fix, well, you can still fix more stuff on a petrol car than you can an EV at home yourself. Although, again, modern cars are getting harder and harder, right? Scott, they should be honest and tell people it's alternative energy, not clean energy. Far, far, far from clean energy. I agree. You see on the back of cars, 0 emissions. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And it's all down to the marketing team just telling the public, dangling that little hook. We'll just tell them what we want them to know so that they buy it. Not, this is the truth. This is, so they're not fully informed. What they should do, actually, here's a really good one. When you go and buy a dishwasher or any electrical appliance here in New Zealand, it has a big electrical appliance, it has a sticker on it. And it tells you, if it uses electric, it tells you how efficient it is on the electric. If it uses water, it tells, like a dishwasher, it tells you how efficient it is on water consumption. EVs should come with a similar sticker telling you how much energy was consumed to build that car. The carbon footprint. And that would include all the transportation of the components and the materials, the raw materials from around the world to assemble the vehicle and then ship it to New Zealand to get it onto the forecourt. Boom, there's a reading. And then obviously some kind of rating as to its efficiency in use. And then the third one would be how much it's going to be, not cost-wise, but some kind of, again, carbon footprint or cost of disposal of the vehicle when it's finally put out to pasture. Information like new battery pack will cost you this much, current price would be really good. Tire consumption is obviously higher on EVs because they're heavier vehicles. So something about how tire wear, some kind of indicator on that, because again, that's based on vehicle weight. That kind of information would be really useful to the consumer, and it would be a bit more transparent, and people could really understand what they're letting themselves in for, because a lot of people don't. They go and buy a car like they go and buy they probably think less about buying the car than they will buying a dishwasher, to be fair, because they don't understand the car side of it. Where do we get to? Dum 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 dum. It's raining. Mike Adams, I have a 48-year-old Ford car that starts 9 of 10 times. a 26-year-old Dodge truck that needs work but runs, and I can maintain both myself. That's all I need. I agree. If I was running my own personal vehicle, sure, we've got the Jimny. That was bought from Mrs. Mechanic, and yes, it's a modern vehicle. But if I was running my own vehicle as a daily, say working locally and just going to and from work in bits and pieces, I wouldn't have anything that was probably after the 90s. You know, probably a 1990s vehicle would be perfect for me. Easy to maintain, logical to fix, pretty reliable and easy to get parts, and the parts are still relatively cheap. Probably a pickup truck, some kind of ute would do me fine. Or, ideally, my perfect vehicle will be what I've been running for years, which is the old Nissan Patrol. I'd have to get another one, which is probably what I would get, actually, thinking about it, because I know my way around those things and I've got plenty of parts. And I can fix anything on it. I can rebuild an engine, I can rebuild a gearbox, I can rebuild the transfer box, I can do axle rebuilds, I can replace UJs and the props, I can replace CV joints, I can replace everything and anything. I've built those vehicles from the ground up. I know what I'm doing. The electrics are all simple, they're not complicated. That would be my kind of vehicle. Yes, I'd get one of those. If I was to leave my employment now, that, and I'd obviously lose the company car, that is what I would buy. Another Nissan Patrol. Plus, they're built so strong, you know, they're super safe on the road. Everybody else becomes your crumple zone, which in my book is the best option. Sorry, sounds a bit selfish, but you know. Where do we get to? Mike Adams, I want something, if I want something nannying me and telling me how to drive, I'll just ask, ooh, I can't finish that one out. I'll just ask a woman to ride with me. Well, Mrs. Mechanic's pretty good in the car, actually. She has a lot of confidence in my driving. I've done a lot of driving over the years. So she just lets me get on with it. Last one, people. Sergeant Joe Smith, last comment of the day. I've got an F550 crew cab diesel 6-speed manual 4x4 dually with 8 foot wide, 12 foot long, 2-ton dump bed. Ford custom built it for me when I was 25 for money I made landscaping. It was a tax write-off. What a machine. That sounds monstrous. Jeez, 8 foot wide, 12 foot long, 5-ton dump bed. Holy crap. That's the same load capacity as the Unimog that I used to have. Holy moly. Okay, crew. Well, we've managed an hour and 17 minutes. It's very respectable considering my current throat condition. I'll be sure not to do much talking today. Mrs. Mechanic will be very happy. So, listen, thank you all very, very much for watching. I've got to get on and make some more of these brackets today. We've made about 80, I think, 75, 80. And we've got about another 45 to make. And those are going to be holding the next load of timber for the roof. Rafters, battens, I forget what they're called. Honestly, I'm useless. So I've got, I don't know, a few more of those to make. I've got the steel picked up, so I've got to cut all that. Yes, I'll wear a mask, keep all the grinding bits out. Loads of holes to drill. Mrs. Mechanic's got to sandblast them and paint them. So we'll get them all done before next weekend. And then they'll be ready to go up when I come back from the South Island. Woohoo! Okay, crew, thank you all for watching. I do really appreciate it. Listening, sat there listening to me mumble on about bits and pieces. My apologies if it sounds a bit boring now and again, but we do have, in my opinion, some very good conversations, and it's nice to talk about current stuff as well. Okay, chaps, fingers crossed when I see you in Picton next, the next live stream, 8:30 a.m. next Sunday, assuming I get there and the ferry doesn't sink or crash into a mountain or whatever. I'll look forward to it. I'll see you then. Take care. Cheers. Over and out.